So here on the Gun Gamers channel, we talk a lot about magazines, and we've used a lot of different magazines over the years, especially mid-caps. And I think today we may have found our new favorite, and those are the Arcturus Tactical Airsoft mid-caps.
We've been doing some extensive testing with them, and really they just run in everything, and that's really all you need from a good mid-cap.
Well, and personally, my favorite thing about them, because there are other magazines that feed and work really well, but not all of them look like real firearms magazines, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different options out there depending on what aesthetic you're looking for in airsoft. So let's start to break down some of the features that you're going to see with these magazines. And in the name of transparency, today's video is sponsored by MOS Manufacturer, who does Arcturus and E&L. Now, despite this being a sponsored video, we saw that they made M4 mid-caps. We weren't really happy with what the options were that are out there, so we actually reached out to them and we're like, hey, can we just try them? And then they're like, yeah, sure, because they're absolute bros and we love working with them. We've also gotten their AK mid-caps through some other partnerships that we've done with them. So just as a full disclosure, we've worked with them before. However, as players and using these, you know, it's one of those situations where it just went beyond our expectations.
So let's just get right into, what you're going to expect with these magazines off the rip. So in terms of pricing, I think these M4 magazines come in at like $70 or $80 for a 5-pack, or anywhere from $15 to $20 a piece, depending on where you're buying from. So they're a little bit on the pricier side of M4 mid-caps. You can get 8 packs of plastic magazines, but they're not going to have some of the features that these have.
Yeah, because I feel like in the last, I'm going to say 5 years or so, there's been a huge shift in the way that magazines are popularized in the airsoft industry, where more and more people are looking for polymer style magazines. And if you're the type of person that wants to do a more like MilSim style of rifle, I feel like having a USGI metal magazine looking mid-cap goes a long way for the look of it. It's not an immediate giveaway that you have an airsoft gun.
And that was the big thing that really attracted me to the Arcturus magazines, is because they look like classic M4 steel magazines. And I personally do like Task Force Keg, US Grunt Kit, and I like having the realistic metal issued M4 magazines, both for the aesthetic and for one really important thing that Arcturus is a bit unique to on the market. They actually fit in gear properly. And you really notice this in things like the LBT 6094 or other plate carriers or chest rigs that have a sleeve or a kangaroo pouch designed for realistic sized M4 magazines, that these actually fit those things the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah, if you have like a Spirit Systems chest rig or a Haley Strategic, any of those microfight rigs where it's open top, it's a world of difference. Just having that extra, what would you say it is, maybe like an inch or so?
Not even an inch.
But having that, it's just so much easier to reach down and grab it, because it is just more pronounced, because all of that gear is built to the spec of a realistic sized magazine, and it's just something that all other manufacturers kind of miss the mark on. And it's originally because mags don't sit quite as far in the gun because of the gearbox, right? Compared to a real firearm.
Well, because you don't have, in a real magazine, up here would be the feed lips where the cartridges sit, and then they go all the way in and sit right at the chamber. So this does stick out a little further on the rifle than a real, M4 magazine sits in a real M4. But it's less than an inch, so I don't really think it messes up the aesthetics of the rifle very much, whereas it does mess up your access in the gear. And another thing I really like about these, beyond the size, is the fact that they are not just a metal with a painted finish. This is actually a case-hardened finish. And that's a really nice finish for an airsoft magazine. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. And the other nice thing about it, while we're just talking about the fit and the finish, these mags fit in pretty much everything, and they fit snug like they should. So Arcturus was kind enough, for another video that we're going to be doing, they sent us out some of their starter guns to test. This is the Mark II, I believe, and Eric's got the Mark III, and they fit incredibly well. If you depress the magazine release, you have to pull it out, which I really like. I'd rather have my magazine be a little bit more snug than having it just accidentally fall out or wobble around and not feed. This just fits great in their M4s, but we've also tested it in a variety of other manufacturers, and it works well in them. They are pretty easy to take apart, and they're also variable capacity. So there's a little button on the side there, and that allows you to go from their full capacity down to 30 rounds. You can do that with their M4 magazines, you can do it with their AK magazines, and the PP19 mags for the Arcturus PP19 also have that feature as well, which is just pretty cool. Now, I think the AK mags are also very interesting, because AK mags are finicky.
These AK mags from Arcturus are the best AK mags I've used. The fact that they fit and lock into E&L, LCT, and Cyma AKs, huge. Especially for, we use these as rentals for our Gun Gamers Productions games now. So we can just give these Arcturus magazines with any rental gun and they will work thing. And I think these have some really nice quality of life features that AK mags have kind of been missing for a while. Again, I like that these look like real AK-74 magazines. Not every performance AK mag out there looks like a realistic issued magazine.
Yeah.
But I like also that they have the extended follower. These are on the M4 mags as well, but this actually ensures that every BB feeds.
Yeah, even if you're running highway BBs like 3.2s, 3.6s, I have not tried 4s in them, but they feed flawlessly. For the AKs, you do have a couple of different options. You have an AK-12 style magazine, which is really cool because Arcturus makes their Arcturus makes their AK-12. We did not lock that stock in, but you've also got a standard 74 style magazine and more of a futuristic, if that's what you're going for, of the modern polymer magazine with a window in the side that isn't an AK-12 mag, you have that as well. So depending on exactly what type of replica you have, again, whether it be the AK-12, whether it be this more modernized one from Arcturus, there's something that looks right in just about everything. The one thing that Arcturus doesn't make is they don't make 7.62 style magazines, which we've got an AKMS here that we can show you.
This is the E&L 7.62 magazine, which is pretty good, but I personally wish Arcturus made these too.
Yeah, the E&L mags work. If you're looking for a 7.62, that would be my recommendation. However, I think the Arcturus just have an edge on them because they have those features that the E&L don't. But if you're buying an E&L rifle, their mid-caps work. Those mid-caps also fit in Cymas, they fit in the Arcturuses as well. But I just think that the Arcturus mags have more features to them and just work with everything that we've thrown them at.
Well, and I hate to admit it, because again, I'm the guy, I like my magazines to look like real firearms magazines. But in terms of convenience and feature set, these are probably the best AK mags I've used. Yeah. These have a few really nice things about them. For one, these are about as slim as AK mags get. So these will fit in a lot of M4 pouches. The nice part about these mags as well is, like the AK-12 magazine, they have this flattened cutoff on the top. So when you put these into pouches, the flap will sit flat and retain the magazine without wanting to cant to one side or the other and then cause issues with retention. So these fit in a wide variety of pouches. They sit correctly with the flaps or with the bungee that can just sit on the top. They have a window for seeing when they're loaded and roughly how much. They still have the 30-round convertible capacity, and they just have a very simple disassembly with, you take the base plate off here, and then you've got this pin that I kind of pre-punched ahead of time, and then you press it down, and there you go. You've got access to the innards. So they're an easy disassembly. They fit and feed really well in everything I've tried them in, and they fit really well in gear. So yes, these are kind of sci-fi BS, not real airsoft magazines, but they work really well, and I really like the feature set.
And again, if you don't like the look of that one, you have normal 74 styles, or you have the AK-12. It's the same internals in there. The one thing I will say about the AK-12, because we're just talking about how slim that is, these are kind of chunky. If you have like a double AK pouch with a flap over it, these might be a little hard to get two of them in there, so I would stretch it out a little bit. The trick that I have found, just because I have both, is to do one of these and a normal one, and it's fine. But you might want to stretch it out a little bit first. That's just one thing I've noticed, because the AK-12 mags are a little bit thicker than your standard AK mags. But again, same internals in all of them. So no matter what flavor you want, the same thing goes with the M4 mags, they're just going to work. They've worked in a wide variety of stuff that we've tested. I just really enjoy them and want to continue purchasing them after I got these ones for testing.
Yeah.
They're great.
I have no complaints.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've been having issues, especially with AKs, I feel like it's been hard to find really good mags in this range. You know, they've got a good capacity. It's not the highest capacity in the world, but once you start to get close to 200, you run into issues, and also reloading's fun.
Yep.
I like using the gear that I have, and I feel like that 130
what do
range
you mean?
is great.
3+1 isn't a realistic combat load?
No, sorry. So yeah, I just really enjoy these, and if you want to pick them up, you can get them from your local Arcturus dealer. I know that Evike is a big, you know, like if that's where you want to go to, they carry, I think, all of this, but also
Amped Airsoft carries a bunch of the Arcturus magazines, and they're our homies, so go check them out.
Shop local when you can, but they are widely available, and they just work in pretty much everything, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which is actually why the high caps they sent us are going to be our new Chrono mags too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think that they are great, and if you're not happy with your mid caps, maybe you're just trying to add more to your arsenal, I think that these are definitely worth taking a look at.
Yeah, if these sound like the feature set that you've been looking for in magazines, they were the feature set I was looking for, and from my perspective, I feel like Arcturus nailed it. I won't stand for metal M4 mid-cap erasure.
Yeah.
It is BS to see so many steel magazines gone too soon. I actually tried to look for metal magazines before I got the Arcturus ones, and most of them are just gone.
Yeah, they just either don't exist or they're bad. And I think, you know, like, this is a discussion for another video, but I feel like lately there's been so many improvements to the AKs, especially with Arcturus in ENL. Now that the guns are performing as well as M4s, and the mid caps have caught up as well, they're just as viable if you want to play competitively.
So if you enjoyed this video from Gun Gamers, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Lane also runs his own channel when he's not helping me run mine, and that is the BB Warrior, which you can find a link to down in the description and a card to wherever it pops up these days. And if you want to see more videos from this channel, hit the like button as well so that the algorithm recommends you more of them. And if you have your own opinions on these Arcturus magazines or your own feedback that you want them to see, because they'll be watching this video, leave those down in the comments below. So thank you for watching once again. I've been Eric.
And I'm Lane.
And we will see you in the next video or on the field very soon. Peace.